In this first video, we will share why the initial chop on a dense lens failed. And then in the follow-up video, we will analyze what can be done to address this. So come along and let's see how this all goes. Okay, now we're at the beginning of phaco, and we'll clean off the surface of the lens and get ready to prepare the chop. Right now we're going to use the phaco to drill what I term a well, which is a rather deep sort of hole in the lens, because you've got to be able to get good purchase on the lens to fracture it at any point, and it's much more relevant when you have a dense lens like this. And so I call it a well because it's deep, and you can call it whatever you couldn't like to. Now let's go ahead and take the Conner wand around, and you will see that my Conner is a lot more bent than this one. I bend them because they seem to hook the lens better and then chop more effectively. Then once we're ready to chop, we drive the phaco in deeper and then begin to pull the two instruments together, and then it should affect a nice chop, and you should see a nice red reflex like this other video shows, but we don't get that one in this. So let's go ahead and see what is going wrong and why it doesn't chop. So first thing, let's go ahead and stop it right here, and the Conner and the phaco are in good position, and then we pull them together and we'll freeze it here. And notice how the Conner wand is swept up into the left, so it's not pointing posteriorly. Then as the resident carries on, they recognize the ball's not in the right direction and they rotate it posteriorly and then try to spread, but by the time they rotate it downwards, they're already way too close to the phaco, and so the chop does not work. So let's go ahead and look at what I think should have been done. So when the first chop was being attempted and the Conner was being pulled toward the phaco initially, and it was brought out from underneath the capsule, I think what should have been recognized is that the Conner was in the wrong configuration. So rather than continuing to pull this way, even if we did rotate it backwards, a different approach should have been had. So let's go ahead and turn off the capsule so that we just see the heminucleus, and then we'll go ahead and turn this around here and center it up a little bit so that we can see. So I think really upon recognition that the Conner was in the wrong position, the Conner should have been brought back under the capsule and around to the edge of the nucleus and then rotated and used in a configuration to sort of hook the edge of the equator of the lens here. And then at this point, the Conner is now in a very good position, though if we try to pull these two together, I still don't think it would work because we're not going to be pinching enough of the tissue, and we'll still end up with a plate back here. So what should be done, I think, is to drop this phaco deeper into the lens, and then with it in this configuration, pulling these two instruments together will in all likelihood affect the crack that we were hunting there. So that's what I think should have been done, and what would have been much more successful in making the first chop what we were targeting. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to come back and see part 2 of this video where we demonstrate how we were able to get the first 1/6 of the lens out and proceed on with this case.